Hello, my name is Bria Hall. This is my speech on AI. These are my audience members, my mother and my sister. Please do excuse the background noise. We are currently watching a movie. With the rise of AI, there needs to be a clear discussion about the effects it can have on society. It can be a great tool, but oftentimes tools need to be monitored. With it being tools that are misused can be a hazard. AI must be monitored and used for resources, not therapy, nor should it substitute creative outlets. AI tends to stunt creative thinking because it steals from other people, and also oftentimes it does not. There's no consent, and there's also oftentimes it's not even from people's knowledge. It is made to be compliant and agreeable, which is why it can't be used for therapy. And also, talking to a person is oftentimes more effective than relying on a bot. That referring to therapy. The definition of AI is the ability of machines to learn through experience and gain proficiency through examples of human input, that being works of art, speech, music, anything human made. Basically, if they take it from, let's say, the World Wide Web and they mush it into some weird gush. That's oftentimes the example with like AI art, where it takes aspects of people's art and puts it into one big glob. And oftentimes that's done without their consent or even their knowledge. Now, the reason that AI should not be used for therapy is, first off, it can be proved to be a huge security risk. Let's say you're venting out all of your deepest, darkest secrets to, let's say, ChatGPT. ChatGPT oftentimes learns from that input, which means that your secrets and your thoughts can be transferred over and used as a way for the machine to learn, not for it to help. And going back to it is made to be compliant and agreeable, not helpful. There was a kid last year that managed to bypass ChatGPT's security guidelines about violence and basically anything to do with like self-harm and suicide. The kid managed to get through that and managed to get methods of how to kill himself, and unfortunately he did pass from that. Which also proves that is, again, a huge security risk, not only for your information, but for your own health, especially for younger members of the society, like kids or young teens who are very impressionable or who have or people with questionable mental health. Harvard's research have also proved that generative AI helps with immediate workplace performance, but in the long term, as workers shifted to non-AI assistants, work boredom rose by about 20%. That is sourced by Nicole Bradford from SHRM, and plus there was an 11% decrease in motivation after that. Now, the effect AI has had on creative outlets is astonishingly unfortunate. AI, it has been shown in multiple studies that AI tends to limit creativity. In 37 out of 45 comparisons have been shown that prompts written in ChatGPT have had similarities, even in different techniques to measure patterns. That is sourced by Seb Murray, Knowledge Monthart, ECM. Excuse me if I mispronounced that. Creativity is oftentimes is vulnerable when it is boxed in. When you do not give any choices, or you take away that choice, then it tends to severely limit that. Again, going back to AI art, there has been a significant decrease in people wanting to pursue art, or people wanting to pursue creative fields in fear that it's going to either take over their jobs or it's going to be proven obsolete. That is the same deal with AI writing. Hence why essays, students, or even some scholars, as I've heard, have used AI to craft their lesson plans, have used AI to write their essays. There have been teachers with no AI policies covering their lesson plans using AI. It's a very controversial topic. Yes, AI should be used with learning, but it should not be used to substitute learning. AI has oftentimes created more revenue than human artists. This could be a cause for creativity to drop due to this encouragement. And also, songs and art nowadays can be created with just a click of a button or a sentence written in a chat bot. Not only that, there are copyright issues that can be scoped on just from that alone. As I mentioned, it oftentimes takes people's art. It could take people's voices even, which is a huge security risk. And not only is this not affected to artists, it can affect students as well. It can affect their learning. It can affect their socialization, because some students are heavily reliant on sites like Character AI or chatbots who mimic social interaction and have been proven to be addictive. Now, what AI can do to relinquish a student's creativity or how they learn? Over-reliance on AI can relinquish deep and critical thinking skills. There are concerns that students may over-rely on AI for work. This does also affect their quality of work. When given the option to use AI, most students will swap over to AI. I had a classmate last year who, while we were writing an essay, she chose to write her entire essay on AI and preemptively screwed herself over because of that. And this was a repeat offense again and again, because she felt like that was an easier option than going through the research and doing that all over again. Again, hinting at the fact that students can oftentimes be more reliant on AI if given the option, which is why certain teachers have to crack down on using things like AI checkers, or having to put AI checkers in their worksheets to make sure students are copying and pasting off of like ChatGPT or other AI softwares. There's also very little education that could be used to help students navigate AI. It's just there. Usually there's a hard no on that, but figuring that AI is such a really prevalent thing nowadays, there also needs to be more that is given about AI. Lesson plans should be used to manage that issue, and there should also be guidelines as to when or when not to use AI. You can't completely eliminate it, unfortunately, but you can help students manage it. Now, from there, AI is a very useful tool. The benefits are sky high if used efficiently. But relying on AI for endeavors like art or even therapy could severely hinder development, or even put oneself at risk of doing something stupid or dangerous. Human input is still something that should be greatly prioritized over machines' tasks, and human effort should be used above all besides a machine. A machine can copy, but a human can create. Thank you.